on the MLS as well as KW Command. So if you guys have logged into both of those, that is good. In the MLS, we're gonna kind of where I left off last week, we're gonna go and pop into starting a client portal. And then how you look up like brokers opens, open houses, and things like that. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Minimize this. Oh yes, and I come up as Michael Rapaski. So sorry if that confused anyone. Okay. Cool. I'm just gonna leave this just in case anyone else pops on. All right, so I'm gonna pop into MLS. And feel free to interrupt me at any time if you guys have any questions. All right, so once you log into MLS, majority of the time you'll just click on the very first icon that says Matrix. So this is going to be what you use 99% of the time. This MLS Touch is going to be the MLS Touch app, which I do recommend that everybody gets on their phone. It kind of has like its own, it's super user friendly compared to the MLS that you'll work with online. But definitely log into it and then it's nice to have like when you're on the go and you need to either schedule a showing or look up other properties within the area for your client. That's when the MLS Touch comes in handy. And hop in the MLS. All right. And I get all of these like ads and I always just say read later. Essentially, I will read later. Okay, I'm gonna make these bigger for you guys. All right. Okay, so a lot of the times when you look at your home screen in the MLS, like just so you know, you can customize this however you like. So what you do is I have my search menu right here, so you can move it around, all of these things. So whatever you want, I think a lot of the times like the search menu will be here, but you just click and drag it, and this just helps so that it makes it easier for you to use whatever you use mostly in the MLS hop into. So today we're going to set up a client portal. And how you do that is you go under the search, click residential. Okay, and then under here, go ahead and I always just do active listings. So for example, my client is looking in Lakewood, Avon Lake, Avon, Fairview Park, Rocky River, and I'll show you how I do all of these things. But this is going to be my example client, and I am just going to use myself so that you could see what the emails come through as well. So my client got pre-approved for anything under 300. She's looking for a single family home. So this is where it'll check that. I do all active properties because majority of the time when they're under contract, they're going to remain under contract. So no need to even look at those or waste your time with them. Okay. And then go into city. You can go ahead and click on this double squares right here. And then it brings you like the whole list of cities. Easy way to go ahead and add them into the portal. Or you can just manually type them in like Avon. And then you click Avon. And then you just type in Avon Lake. Click Avon Lake. Whatever is easiest for you. Lakewood. Rocky River. Fairview Park. And we will do Bay Beach. Okay. So the key boxes, yeah, they're going to be the price, but they're pre-approved for. So if the lender spoke to them and they're pre-approved for anything like their pre-approval amount is 300, you can just do anything below 300. If they like tell you like, hey, I kind of don't want to spend 300, I want to spend like anything 250 below, obviously you can just do anything below 250 here. And I just did the minus sign. A lot of times you can also do like, I don't even want to see properties below 100. So I could do like 125 to 300. You kind of want more of a detailed, because it'll show you like everything within these areas that are even like in the 50,000 that it could be flips. And if they're not really interested in any flips or anything like that, so you can get more specific with it. Okay. Sorry, another agent was coming to the door, so I was making sure that you didn't bother me. Okay. And then here, if like they want 2+ bedrooms, that's what you will do there. And this is like after you have your buyer consultation with them. Let's see. For baths, you can just do 1+ here. Everybody's gonna have 1+ bathrooms, so you don't technically need to put that in, but just in case. All right. And then it does get more specific when you keep scrolling down. So for example, if they want, well, majority of the time there'll be a laundry in unit, especially for residential, if they make sure that my client wants central air throughout. So right down here, you can see what the results are. So once I clicked, so if I clicked like no specific central air, there's 42 matches. But if the cooling system, you want to make sure that there's central air throughout because your client would like that. Now there's 33 matches. And so it does help with specifics. All right. Okay, so from there, go ahead and click on results. Okay. So what's cool about this is now these are all the homes that are active that meet your client's criteria. Another way to view them, where it says display, go ahead and click down and click on, you can do agent thumbnail. Cool. And then this kind of helps give like a brief synopsis of the property and a little picture of it. So you just kind of scroll and look through. So this one is going to be for 279 Jaycock in Avon. Okay. So you just look through the various ones, be like, okay, all of these meet my client's criteria. So now you want to click on save. And once you click save, you click new auto email. Cool. And now you'll want to send this to your client. So you basically are setting them up a portal showing them that any property that hits the MLS that's active between 125 and 300 and that is in the areas that they're looking, they will be notified. So that's what you're setting them up on. You can call it like a new agent auto email. You can call it their portal, whatever you like. But when you go ahead and create new contacts, you'll need their first, last name, and email address for them. So I'm gonna just put Kevin. Yeah. My email address. That. Save. Cool. All right. Now the subject could be like Kelly's house hunting or whatever. This is like for you to make your own. This auto populates. So what this is, I've set up a new saved search for you on one home. I'll send you any new or updated listings that match what you're looking for. So any listings that say are 310, but then price change goes down and now they are like 299. they'll show up in your client's portal. Um, so this again is like an auto message, so you can personalize it however you'd like. So like here, be like, please let me know if you would like to schedule a time to see any of these new listings. And it will automatically have your name, signature, or your name, email address, and phone number down here. All right. Now when you go down here, you keep scrolling down. Again, based on like the conversation you have with your buyer, you can go ahead and you can click on ASAP, that they get an email as soon as it becomes active in the MLS. Or if they don't want to get emails, like if they don't want to get emails throughout the day and they're like, hey, I only check my email in the morning. Can I just get emails in the morning? You can like take off weekends and just make sure that they get any updates like morning time, or if they're like, oh, hey, I'm not going to check until evening, then you can go ahead and just do all PM and then take off weekends, kind of however your buyer is in the process. So if they're like, oh, I'm not moving for another like 5 months, you do want to, that's actually like, that would be considered super soon. But instead of getting them like every day ASAP, you can kind of get them like every other day so they get updates. And again, based on their preference. But for today's, I'm just going to do, we're actively looking, and I want to get emails as soon as the property comes into the MLS. So once you do that, and then I'm going to also check on, you don't need to enable concierge mode. What concierge mode is basically like you, the agent, will get notified in an email like, hey, this property is going to become active in the MLS, or this property is active in the MLS. Would you like your client to look at it? So you have to basically review every time your client's going to get an email. You have to check it and make sure that you want them to get that email. That's what the concierge mode, checking that box, that's what that entails. And then show this contact and reverse prospecting results. Basically, like this one is, don't have to worry about this one. This one basically means that anything that meets our criteria, they're going to get. Enable as favorite search on home tab. You do want to check this one because you'll see their portal saved on your home menu. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. So again, this one is like if you want to approve anything getting sent to your client before they get it. That is what the enable concierge mode is. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now I'll go back to agent single line. These are all the properties that you went ahead and sent your client. So when you go back to your home menu, my favorite searches, this is where you'll see your client's portal. So if you click on it, it shows you all the listings that you sent them. Actually, let's see. Go back and click manage. And so these all show all my contacts that I have set up an auto email. So these were the criteria. At any point, you can change their criteria. So what you do is you click on, I'll show you. When I went up here, I clicked on manage. And if I wanted to change anything in their criteria, I can just go right here, click criteria. I can click on results to see what I sent her. So I sent her list of, I want to say it was list of 33 properties. Let's see.
Hey, Kelly, really quick, sorry to interrupt. I have to switch devices. Could you let me in on my other device?
Oh, yeah. Sure thing. Sorry, I just clicked out of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Yes. And so now when you see here, it shows the date you emailed your client these properties. And what's nice is when they go in there, they could heart the ones, they could trash the ones they don't like, and then it kind of based on that, you can get a feel and like give them a call, shoot them an email, and give them a feel of what they're interested about the properties, and then you can go ahead and schedule a showing with them. All right. So now I'll go back to home. And again, I saved that right here populated in my favorite searches. And so when you click on manage, this is where you will see them. So it also shows where I got the word portal. So it also shows when the last time my client looked at their portal. So Kelly's never opened her portal yet. Michael Laws opened his portal December 11th, and then Gianna and Henry opened their portal October 23rd. So you can also click on portal visit, and now you can visit their portals. I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's see. I feel like they have to open their portals for revisit. So Gianna did favorite. When I'm in Gianna's portal, it shows me that she favorited 2 houses. This was back in the day. I'm sure we looked at both of these. Okay. So it'll show like that. I don't think she trashed any. But yeah, so just kind of being on the lookout of what they heart. Um, let them know that you're staying updated in their portal is definitely helpful just so that you see, oh, okay, like what were they interested in these properties? And then you can kind of like based on you can kind of like shrink their options based on the ones they like and the ones they don't like. So like say she wants like a finished basement or make sure that there's at least a 1-car garage, then you can also change that in your criterias. Okay. So now let's say we'll go to Kelly's portal and I'm going to look at it under agent single line. Okay. And now we'll say Kelly hearted this one in Avon on Jaycox. So you want to click on the MLS number. It brings you to the MLS listing. And so say like Kelly's like, hey, can I go ahead and see this today at 3 p.m.? You'll be like, sure, let me see what the available showing time is. So when you look it up in the MLS, again, you can go to either their portal that they hearted it, or you can go ahead and search that on the homepage. So whenever you do search a property in the MLS and they give you like the address or they send you like a Zillow link and whatnot, always type it in this search box. This search box does not list everything. Very temperamental. This one is going to be where you search all of the listings. So it was 4740, the street number, the street name, and then I'm going to click search. Perfect. It populates right there. It also shows you when it was last listed and sold. So when you click on, again, the MLS number, I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be where you go ahead and schedule a showing. But before I schedule a showing, I want to check out the residential property disclosure because this tells you a lot about the property itself. And where you will find that is going to be under supplements. So click on supplements. You have the lead paint and residential property disclosure. Save it to your desktop. Open this up. Okay. Now, zoom in. Okay. So every seller has to fill this out prior to listing their property. Okay. So what we're looking for is basically anywhere that they say yes to, because then that means that they have an explanation of like maybe there was water intrusion or a leak in the roof. As you can see, all of it is no, or this one says yes, but it says, is the quantity of water sufficient for your household use? This one's yes, and then public sewer. What type of water system? What type of water system they use and sewer system. Majority of the time, it's going to be public sewer and public water. Okay, so it looks like everything is no issues when it comes to moisture, no issues when it comes to mold. So just kind of like skimming over this. Right. Again, everything's checked no. When it is checked yes, they do have to explain. And a lot of the times if it's like, yes, we dealt with flooding and whatnot, they explained where they dealt with the flooding and then what steps they took to fix that, or if it is still an issue, they'll explain it on this document. All right, so everything looks good. It looks like there's not any underlying issues with the house. Okay. And sharing this with your buyers, I recommend doing. You don't have to print it out, but maybe just like having it ready for them to look at on your phone or sending it to them via email, or even just like having it on your phone through the MLS app. You can get it on there as well. Pulling it up under supplements on your MLS Touch app, and then showing them like, hey, it looks like everything's good to go. Shows no problems with the roof, basement, no underlying plumbing issues or anything like that. And then the lead paint document as well. This one's kind of self-explanatory, but just so your client sees that and knows that you're doing all the due diligence when looking up the property. This is going to be what the lead paint disclosure looks like. It is normally just one page. And now kind of to touch upon what we did last week, but both of these documents are going to be what you say your client loves the property and you want to put an offer in. Both of these documents are going to be uploaded to that dot loop where you send the offer. Okay. All right.
Quick
Now I'm back
question.
on.
If you don't mind, I have just a quick question.
Yeah.
Do we send the disclosure for the first showing, or do we wait to see if they like it or not?
Yeah, so disclosure, you don't have to send it to them for showing, just so you see it.
Okay.
And then you could, if they're super interested in it, then you can go ahead and show it to them while you're at the showing. But just so you know of anything when you're there at the property. So say there was like a leak in the left corner of the basement. You just want to make sure that they're aware that there was a leak and it was fixed, or that there is a leak and and it would be for their responsibility to take care of it. And this would all be in that residential property disclosure. So it's kind of like you doing your behind the scenes research on the property before you go see it with your client.
So if I don't see any yeses marked,
Right.
then I don't necessarily have to print it to show them, or just print
Right.
it anyways for the showing. Is it part of the packet that I would bring with me for a showing?
No, you wouldn't have to bring it with you.
Okay.
Yeah. It would just be something like you could acknowledge like the residential, you could just let them know, hey, looked at the residential property disclosure and it looks like there wasn't any issues. Just kind of give them a gist that you reviewed it and everything was good to go. But I do recommend that if there are yeses, and explanations that you do print it and bring it with you on the showing. But again, it's totally up to you, and it's kind of like how you want to read your client. Like, if they're better with electronic and they want to just get that via email and not have a print off, you could just send it to them in PDF form via email, or you can just show it to them while you're there at the property. Kind of like read them when they're looking at houses, especially if they're not super, super interested, then no need to do all the printing and having everything with you on every single appointment. Okay. Any other questions on that? Again, I found that under supplements when I went to the listing. And another thing I was going to explore today is going to be Realist Tax. So that is going to be right here where it says Realist Tax, and then it shows you the parcel ID number. Click on that and a whole new tab will open. And this gives you all the past details on the property. All right, so basically this is what it shows up on the county website. So you see here, this is going to be, this address is considered in Lorain County, what the square footage is, when it was built, owner's names. You keep scrolling through. Just kind of like looking at this for each property is super helpful just to familiarize yourself with it. Okay, and this is also where you're going to find the taxes, the total tax for the city per year. So this one is in Avon, and their tax is about $3,445. And I'm sure it will say on the MLS as well, but just so you know. And then this kind of also breaks down everything about the property. And then if you keep scrolling, it also shows the past mortgage history of what they bought the house for, if they refinanced. It shows you all right here. Also gives you the dimensions of the property on a map. So again, if this is if your client is very interested and wants to put an offer on this property, I would recommend going ahead and printing this off for them or sending it to them via PDF as well. Just so the more information they have on the property, the better. Okay. And again, this is Realist Tax. So to get to like the Lorain County Auditor website, from here, where it says formatted PID, click on this. And it brings you to the Lorain County Auditor website. And this is where it'll say if there's like a homestead or any assessments. Now, a homestead is for older sellers, and I want to say that's their houses in homestead. I think it's 60 or 55 and above. I'm not sure exactly on that, but I'll look that up for homestead. But when the assessment, what assessment means is basically like, say the city of Avon redid all the sidewalks. They do bill all of their like property owners over X amount of years. So that falls into the taxes. So say they redid all of the sidewalks in 2021. Your assessment is like additional $200 in taxes that they pay over a 10-year period. And then once that's paid off, then it's like, okay, there is no more assessment fees, but if your client buys a home and they still have that $200 additional assessment, that's what that is paying. That's what they're paying towards is those new sidewalks for the city. Okay. So that would be under like special assessment. And it looks like there is no assessments on here. Okay. So now going back to the listing. Again, just reading through the property. Your client will see all of these things up until the broker's notes. These are just for you to see. So right now, so we see broker's remarks. The following does not state golf rod and valence in office, bathroom valence, and lower level family room valences. So let's see what that is talking about. So we'll go into the pictures. I'm thinking that is what they're talking about, these comments. Yeah, it looks like the ones that they have built in for the curtains. So all of those, what they're taking with them. That is good to know. But yeah, okay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Quick, Kelly. So on this one, I'm seeing under where it says broker remarks, it shows the type of loans that it qualifies for. I have seen some properties that does not include the FHA, VA. Will it always specify here, or is it just a good idea to just call and find out?
It will specify, but I do recommend calling because sometimes the listing agent doesn't list everything in there. So I do recommend calling the listing agent, being like, hey, I saw on the MLS that you're only accepting cash conventional. Are you also accepting FHA or VA loans? And then they'll be like, no, my seller isn't interested in accepting those loans. Or they'll be like, yeah, we are accepting those. Like, I had my admin put it in wrong or something like that. So I would, yeah, that's a great point. I would just recommend calling and making sure that to ensure like that. Most of the time, listing agents may not put in it. They're just putting it in quickly and not including all of them.
Yeah. Now, is there like a search feature at all where you can search for those like specific type of loans or no?
Good question. I wonder if there is. It would be under the residential and I do not see one for loans. It kind of does have like specifics when it comes to like builder or estate sale or in foreclosure, but this would not really be related to conventional or cash. So yeah, that's a good point. I don't believe so.
All right. Thank
They
you.
did. Oh yeah, they did just update a lot of these, so I just wanted to double check because I actually the updates are a lot more helpful and make it easier for you to use as a real estate agent. So it's definitely nicer. But yeah, it looks like it does not specify loans in here.
Okay.
But yes, that was a great question. Cool.
Can I ask you a quick question about the app that you mentioned that's like the sister of this site, little it is the app populated from what we put into the MLS to the app and vice versa?
Yes. So not super majority of what you see on your app is going to be what you put into the MLS through desktop. Now, what you put into the MLS app, not that it won't show, but it is more so like on the go. So I don't believe that it will save everything that you put in and then save it to the desktop. But everything from the desktop to the app, yes. I don't know if it's gonna save if you just save it through the app though.
Okay. And then can I do the same things with the app as I can with MLS, like sending emails and that kind of thing, you think?
No. So when you set up an auto email, you want to set it up on your desktop. But for I wonder if it'll show me. Let's see. When I go into here.
And can I use my iPad instead of a desktop? Is that okay? A laptop?
You just want to make sure that you're in desktop mode when you're in the MLS, but it does the MLS Touch is going to be available as an app on your iPad as well. So yes, so what you can set up here are customized searches, but you are not able to set up auto email portals through the app to your clients that you do have to do on the desktop.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's nice when you are out on showings with your clients to pull up the app just to see if any new properties came in. For example, as you can see, it shows you almost like a Google map of properties that are active on the market. So the orange is going to show under contract ones, but then the blue is going to be active properties. So if you're like, oh, there's actually one down the street that meets your criteria, do you want to see if I could get in a showing? And we can see that as well. You can always pull that up and schedule that on the app. But when it comes to those auto emails, that you do set up on the desktop.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's harder to train on the app features with being off the computer. So I can send videos of that once I record them on my phone as well to help navigate the app. Okay. And I did just also want to touch on how to, so say your client's looking in kind of the vicinity of Lakewood or Cleveland. Again, you could set up a search through map. If they're like, hey, I want to live within 10 miles of my office. So for example, I can go ahead and I'm just going to do the Rocky River office for now. All right. So now if your client wants to be within 10 miles from here, you can go up, draw a radius, and it calculates how many miles the circle will cover. Cool. And this is just assuming they're interested in going more west than they are east with it. And again, after discussing this with your client, so they're like, okay, I am interested in more of the west side rather than the east or south. So what you want to do is then go ahead and freehand what what they are interested in. So anywhere from, oh no. Pencil encompasses these areas and around. Okay. So now I'm going to delete the shape of the circle because I want any areas over here. And then you can also be like, okay, they want any area on the west side. Sorry. Any area on the west side and Columbia Station. Oh no. Freehand polygon. Columbia Station. Okay. So now you go ahead and I want to delete the shape of the circle. Click on it, delete shape. Perfect. So now, okay, I'm going to expand that. Again, just playing around with this is super helpful. As you can see, like I did not do such a good job. So you can just expand this so that you cover everything. There we go. Cool. Okay. And then now as you can see, it'll show me everything in Columbia Station and everything else that they're interested in. On the west side, that is 10 miles or less from their office. And then again, you just go ahead and click back to criteria. It shows me 184 matches, but now I want to put in a price. So anything below 300 with single family residence and they want a garage. So then you go ahead and click on results. And then it shows you all these properties. And then again, to save that, click save, new auto email. And then this would save the search for them in the MLS. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I do. So they would get the email with all the links and they would click on each link. So is that what they would get, or would it already be kind of opened up for them?
So they will get an email with all of the properties that meet their criteria, but it will actually show in like almost like an app form. So it won't show like it does for us, the MLS, with all of those listings. Like we see it as agent single line. We see it as this. Theirs will show up almost like, again, like an app. Like it will be more like user friendly for them to open each one. So if you, let's see if I got the email. So if you go ahead, I'll show you what they'll see. And again, like if you set yourself up on a search, you can kind of see what they'll see as well. So let me see if I got email. Okay, perfect. Over here. So this is what your client will see. So once you set them up on that search, they'll receive this email that you create for them. Then they can go ahead and click view properties. And then it shows them this is what they will see. We see this and they'll see this because they're going to be then using like the One Home app or the KW app. And then from here, they can go ahead and heart it or thumbs down it. but this is kind of what they'll see in their end on their portal.
So I have a question for you too, Kelly.
Yeah.
So right now you're in the command.
No, right now I am in my client's portal that I create for them.
Oh, okay. So what is the difference with sending them an MLS listing versus using command?
So I recommend setting up them on a saved search, like I was just showing today in the MLS. And command is going to be like a specific area, like your neighborhood nurtures. So if like they're looking to sell their house or looking in the various areas, like want more updates on the community itself, you could send that through command. But setting them up on a save search in the MLS is key because it shows everything active. Whereas like command searches don't show, like a lot of times won't show Howard Hanna listings or things like that.
Okay, so it's not updated or as like real time.
Frequently as of the MLS, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And command is kind of like for you to organize your contacts and send them like newsletters or setting them up again on like a neighborhood nurture. And those are kind of all automated. And command is also going to be where you submit your contracts and your commission to get paid.
Okay.
And I'll have a session on that as well. And I'll create a video on how you create an opportunity in command and what everything that entails. But for the most part, the MLS is going to be where you use first with those buyers' clients to set them up on a portal. And then command is going to be like organizing those contacts and sending them like updates with like the latest market trends or things like that, whatever you want to automate to keep yourself relevant in their eyes. And then also where once you do become under contract, that's where you're going to submit everything for the office to review and audit. And then that's where you'll get paid.
So is there ever an interchange at all? Like, let's say you send your client a listing, an MLS listing, but you also like set them up an account on command. Will those listings from the MLS show up on command at all or no?
Yeah, some will like become updated, like especially if it's through Keller Williams and you're using the KW app, it may show the listing both in the command app command as well as the MLS. It's just the MLS is more like up to date and more no matter what. More real time, like you said. Yeah, like no matter what, an agent with any brokerage has to input their listing into the MLS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is basically, I'm pretending that I'm the client. And so on both ends, this is what you'll see as the agent. And then this is what your client will see on their end. So again, just kind of adding yourself on a saved auto search is super helpful so that you can see the best of what you set them up on. And then when your client is like, hey, my portal shows this, this, and this, you'll know what they're talking about because you've seen it on their end as well. So for example, okay, say I hearted this. Activate account.
It's interesting that an apartment building came up on that search.
Yeah, and so that's a good point. Now that we went there, I actually do want to see. I'm not going to set up because what the apartment building, they put it as a single family resident.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of a condo. Right. And so that's again, like you can always thumbs down it. But yeah, so it is like whatever the listing agent wants it to come up as an MLS. So instead of coming up as a condo or an apartment, they want it coming up as a single family resident because it looks like they are selling the apartment instead of renting it out. But yeah, that is a great point. But yeah, and then that, again, is why it came up as, because it was listed as a single family resident and not like a condo or a rental. Cool. Any questions? Okay. And then I'll quickly show you. And then when you're in it and you want to go ahead and schedule a showing, go ahead and click schedule a showing. And it will tell you what an appointment is required and wait for confirmation. The other version is going to be a go and show, which means that picking a time in the applicable times that they have available, it will automatically be confirmed. Whereas this one, you will have to wait until confirmation. Let's say we want to set up like a tour for your client because they want to see various properties that day. You go ahead and click add to showing cart. Then you'll just do today, they want to look at houses, and then Kelly's real estate tour. And you could label this whatever you'd like. Click OK. Now you go back to the list. Line and say they also want to look at this one on French Creek Road. Go here. Schedule a showing. Add to showing cart, and I want to add it to Kelly's showing. Next. It shows this one is a go and show, and then she wants to look at, my client wants to look at 2 other ones. So she also wants to look at this one on Avon Belden Road. So I go here, schedule a showing, add to tour.
Scheduling a showing versus showtime at the bottom is because they're a little different, aren't they, or not?
Showing time schedule showing is showing time. I'm sorry. Yes. So this is
the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. So when you see schedule showing, I am scheduling the showing through the ShowingTime app or through the ShowingTime link or app. And so this little symbol is ShowingTime. And down here, it will show you like showing requirements, showing service, schedule a showing. So basically this means that this property, in order to schedule a showing, it's going to be through ShowingTime. Okay, and then I'll go and let's see. She also wants to see this one on Vineland. Click on it. Schedule a showing. Add to showing cart, tour, next. So now once I'm in here, my client wants to look at all of these properties, and now I want to make sure that I set up the best way to look at all of them. So the smart route puts them in order and kind of shows you like, okay, you should look at this one first, second, third, fourth, and it's the most the best way to time each property. So for example, like as you see, we could pick a time for Jaycox. It's 15 minutes away from the one on French Creek. And then French Creek is 13 minutes away from the one on Avon Belden, which is then 13 minutes away from Vineland. So when you schedule your showings, you base it off of how long you think it's going to take to get from property to property and how long you're going to look at each property. And normally showings are about 15 minutes each. So for example, this one will start our appointment from 3 to 3:15. Save. It's 15 minutes to the next one. So I'm not going to get to the next one until probably around 3:30. So I'm going to schedule my showing between 3:30 and 3:45. Save. And then again, I won't get to the next one until about 15 minutes, 13 minutes, it says. So I'm going to schedule that from 4 to 4:15. And you could always make these longer. You can always be like, oh, I actually want to look at this one for 30 minutes, or just so I have enough time to show my client, I can try and see if they're available to be looked at for a half hour instead of the 15 minutes. And what I did was just click on that. And it says till 3:45, but I want to see it until 4:30. And then I'm going to click save. So if you want to make your appointments a half hour long, you totally can. It gives you that option and you click save.
And if we get to an appointment early, say we scheduled them all for half an hour, but it really only took 20 minutes and then we got there early, do we adjust it on showing time?
No,
or do we just see if it's available to no one's there? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I would just kind of like scope out, like if it looks like there's another car parked in the driveway and another agent is showing the property, I would just kind of wait until they're done showing the property. But when there is go-and shows, say there is another agent showing the house, feel free to go ahead and show the house because appointments could be overlapping.
Oh, so go and show, you can overlap appointments.
Yes, but appointments required, you cannot overlap appointments. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, and normally, like, again, if say you're late for a showing, no worries. I would just like, again, if it's a go and show, feel free to go, even if you're late. But if it is appointment required, kind of go on the app and see if anybody was after you. And then you could see if you can just quick show them or like even just let the listing agent know, hey, I'm like 20 minutes late for the appointment. We got caught in traffic or whatever. Is it okay if we still show the house? If you're like 3 to 5 minutes, like if you're like 5 to 10 minutes late, don't worry. Definitely still show the property. But if it's like 20 minutes plus, just make sure that the owner is not coming back into the house while you're still showing it and things. Cool. So then from here, you would just send requests so that you get approval for all of these lists, for all of these showings. So you can go ahead and then send your client like, hey, this is what these are the houses we're gonna see. And then you can send them the tour through email right here, or you can print it off and send it to them, whatever is easier. So that they know like, okay, we're gonna start here, then go to this one. So they'll have on their end the itinerary or the agenda of your showing tour. Any questions?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
When it comes to this, I just got an email actually from the MLS saying to sign up for my Supra e-key. Would I need that initially?
So yeah, that's a great question. I actually have not even signed up for mine. I do recommend just going ahead and doing the Supra e-key. Not many agents use that method as their lockbox, but that's just basically another version of a lockbox, but it's more like high tech. And it does take like a good 2 days to even get approved. So say you're showing houses today and tomorrow, and one of them requires Supra box. Definitely sign up for that sooner than later because it does take, I want to say, like 2 business days to be confirmed because you need facial recognition and everything.
Oh, okay. It will say though, and on the MLS, if a property requires the Supra e-key.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yeah, great point. I also have not signed up for my Supra e-key, and knock on wood, I haven't ran into a property that requires that form of lockbox, but it is, I guess, a little bit more common now than it has been. Yeah.
Never got the email.
Yeah.
I didn't, so
yeah, and
I just signed up.
right, and I want to say it will, like, right here in your news and alerts on your homepage of the MLS. That's where it shows like super e-key showing notifications, enable view. This is where you can always sign up, or even just typing in. I think what it shows you on here. Right here on your homepage, Supra. And then you can sign up this way as well.
Okay. And then oh, actually I have to answer this call, so
Okay. No worries. Was that helpful, Renee? So yeah, like you could sign up here or even on the homepage of your MLS. You can sign up that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need to do this as well. Now we're talking about
it. So much to do.
I know, right? But it's the fun part of learning the ins and outs of this instead of the test.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah.